Literally less than one day after I posted a video about what I think the costumes of the heroes of the DCU should look like, set photos from Superman were released showing off Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl, and not only do we now know what these characters will look like and their character designs, but they also practically confirm the team that these four heroes form, and also a potential theme of the movie. In this video, I'll be breaking all of this down, so make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and help me get to 100,000 subscribers. Let's begin. First things first, just to get it out of the way, in some of these pictures we see a man dressed in a blue mocap suit, and then the only hero who is missing here is Metamorpho, so it seems likely that we now know that Metamorpho will be done with CGI, which is actually contrary to what I said I preferred in the aforementioned video, but to be honest, I didn't really have a strong preference. I'm absolutely okay with this. It does mean that we will not see what Metamorpho looks like until they really want us to. Then there's Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner, sporting the ginger bowl cut, which goes a long way in making him look more like the character, and does warm me up to the casting, a casting I just didn't really initially love. As for the costume, well, frankly, it kind of sucks. But what people seem to be missing is that was clearly on purpose, and honestly, it's so clear. I'll get back to that in a bit. The suit has a very small amount of green, the Green Lantern logo is completely pushed aside, and the jacket doesn't really look like a Guy Gardner one, rather a green Mr. Terrific one, and by green I mean a very small amount of it. I do like the material used for the suit itself, and the unique Green Lantern logo on the belt, and I think maybe on a TV budget I would have tolerated this, but at face value, this is not a good suit for Guy in Superman. It's pretty clear, however, that was on purpose. As for Hawkgirl, I really like the design of the helmet, although maybe it needs some CGI enhancement to make it fit better. And then little things like the gloves, boots, the belt, and the mace, they all look really good, and I like how she has visible hair coming out of the helmet. We'll have to wait a while to see how it looks with the wings, which will be added with CGI, and whether or not the wings will be metallic or organic. Honestly, based on the suit, I would actually say organic, since there's not a lot of metal. I thought there would be way more metal on this suit. But if I'm being honest, while I could have maybe tolerated Guy Gardner's suit on a TV budget, even this one I wouldn't. This suit really sucks. It doesn't look anything like Hawkgirl. It really just looks like an orange variant and a female one of the Mr. Terrific suit. Initially, these suits not being very good was a bit surprising, since they absolutely nailed Superman and absolutely nailed Mr. Terrific's design. So why are these two so unlike their comic counterparts? Well, something we noticed previously that I haven't yet talked about is the one difference Mr. Terrific's suit has compared to the comics. He has a logo on the chest which matches the logo from Lordtech seen in set photos. This implies that Mr. Terrific is either sponsored by, or more likely working for, Lordtech and its owner Maxwell Lord, which began the theory that these four heroes appearing in Superman are Justice League International, since that team was brought together by Maxwell Lord in the comics, and Guy Gardner was a member. These set photos do push that theory as well, as Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner both have that logo as well, with it completely pushing Guy's Green Lantern logo to the side, and then I'm sure Metamorpho will also wear a similar suit with the same logo on it. This, in and of itself, supports the Justice League International theory, and I'd say at least some of this is definitely we could already tell, inspired by Justice League International. However, this quartet shares only one member with Justice League International, Guy Gardner, and two members with the Terrifics, both Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho, and it's a team that was heavily hinted at by James Gunn on multiple occasions. The thing is, I think these set photos kind of 100% confirm that they will be the Terrifics, as Hawkgirl and Green Lantern are practically wearing Mr. Terrific costumes recolored and reaccessorized to have some, but not a lot, of the characters' identities. For those of you who aren't aware, because they're a fairly obscure and very new team, the Terrifics consist of Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Plastic Man, and Phantom Girl, and was created as a pastiche of Marvel's Fantastic Four, with one super genius, one stretchy guy, one girl with ghost-adjacent powers, and one guy made out of elements and is kind of like a quote-unquote freak. It seems to me that James Gunn liked the idea of the Terrifics, but wanted to make it more of its own thing rather than a Fantastic Four ripoff. Phantom Girl was an easy character to replace since she's not very popular, and she is a modern-day version of a member of the Legion of Superheroes, who is a more popular version of the character. As for Plastic Man, I think maybe he just didn't fit the role that Terrifics will serve in this story, and maybe James Gunn has plans for Plastic Man later on. It also made this less like a Fantastic Four-esque team because they got rid of the stretchy guy, and Guy Gardner already wears a jacket, so maybe he just fit a bit better into the Terrifics. Hawkgirl then is a popular female DC hero who it seems James Gunn just wanted to include in some way, and there was a missing spot because I think it would have been a waste to include Phantom Girl. Instead, I think Hawkgirl fits a lot better. These two costumes of Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl have jackets that, just like Mr. Terrific's, close to form a T. Neither hero's name starts with a T. Lordtech and Justice League International do not start with T's. The only reason I could think of for them to wear Mr. Terrific costumes with jackets that close to form a T is that it's a team uniform and they are the Terrifics. We also saw a set video of the Terrifics, if that's who they are, walking past a bunch of kids, and then Superman comes after them, and the kids do not care about them, they only care about Superman, which I think kind of points to the theme of the movie. So with all that in mind, what seems to be happening here is that Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, and Hawkgirl are the 4 members of the Terrifics, a superhero team working for Lordtech, who slowly but surely lost most of their individuality and likely some of their ethics, as they are both held back and maybe allowed to do a bit too much by their corporate overlords. In deep contrast to all this would be Superman, standing on his own in a bright superhero costume, putting his own morals ahead of any personal gain and ahead of the status quo. I could definitely see all of this being a very big theme of the movie, and I'm absolutely sure that at the end of it, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, and Metamorpho will all be given more individualistic and more comic accurate designs that aren't branded by Lordtech or modeled after Mr. Terrific, as they are inspired by Superman to do what's right, which I think for all intents and purposes sounds like a pretty fantastic story that more than justifies this Superman solo movie, including so many other heroes, as it will deliberately put focus on how Superman stands out among a world of heroes, how he inspires the rest of the superhero community, and why he is the greatest among them, and it's not because of how powerful he is, which could also be seen in a lot of set photos of Superman saving kids, playing with kids, saving people, playing with dogs. It's just a matter of time before we see a set photo of him getting a cat out of a tree, because it's clear that this movie will understand Superman and will try to express what makes Superman so special. And I'll be honest, that sounds absolutely awesome. That sounds like such a good Superman story. And it's why I think people freaking out about the fact that Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl suits aren't very good should probably calm down. It's so clearly on purpose. It's so clearly a corporate uniform of the Terrifics and of Lordtech. They will clearly get better costumes later on. And because they will get better costumes, everything I said regarding Hawkgirl and Guy in my costume video 100% still stands, just for their new looks. Not so much Metamorpho since he will be CGI, but Hawkgirl and Guy. Oh, actually, something I didn't notice until just now is that the Lordtech logo kind of forms a J and L, and then right in the middle is an I, and there's no J or I in Lordtech, so that's probably Justice League International. What I think is happening here is that, yes, this is Justice League International, but these 4 members specifically are kind of like a subgroup known as the Terrifics because they are led by Mr. Terrific and all modeled after him. To finish this video off, I wanted to see what these Green Lantern and Hawkgirl suits would look like if they were given their comic book colors, without changing the design, at least not much. So here they are. I think they don't look terrible, but even with these colors, they still could use a bit of an upgrade. Hawkgirl, for instance, should not wear a jacket, and Green Lantern's jacket should be closed.